Hello, everybody. We are live. This is Dave Finale with Real Estate Talk TGIF episode, excuse me, 58. Excuse me, we're starting off bad this way. Anyway, Real Estate Talk TGIF episode 58. TGIF, everybody knows what that stands for, right? It's thank God it's finale, not Friday. It is Friday, but thank God it's finale. And here we are. We have a great guest from Caledon, Ontario, Katerina Loucaidou, who I met a few years ago, talking about video and omnipresence. And Katherine's done really, really well with being able to get seen everywhere and building a business through basically video. Welcome, Katherine. Thanks for coming on.
Thank you. And I have to say, happy birthday for yesterday.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Hope you had a good day.
I had a great day. We played some golf. We had some adult beverages. We
Lovely.
went out to dinner. We had a good time. And August is birthday month. So
yes.
It really doesn't end with the day. The day is just the day.
They just keep going.
That's right. So we're going today. We're going tomorrow. It's just going to be a lot of fun having good things. Thank you so much for that. I appreciate that. Thank you. So tell me, Katherine, tell me a little bit about your story, you know, how you came to be and all this other stuff. So tell me about you.
Okay. So my story, I always say, begins sort of halfway through. When I was in my 20s, I moved to Europe and I was teaching there. And then I got my master's degree and I became a professor at the university there. And, did that. I was doing that for 16 years. And 12 years ago, I was going to bed one evening and I climbed into bed, I grabbed my book, and then all of a sudden it was as if the walls were crushing me. I wasn't sure what was happening, called my husband. He quickly came out of the bathroom, and then I realized my arm had gone numb. So wow. I realized I was having a heart attack. He quickly put me in the car and we pulled up to the hospital. Luckily for me, the only doctor on duty that night was getting a breath of fresh air, and he was standing in the driveway as we pulled up. So he brought me in, started everything that they do. I proceeded to have another probably 5 to 7 heart attacks that week until they could stabilize me. And what's fascinating is he came into me the end of that week. It was a Friday, and he told me, he said, unless we can get you stabilized, you're not going to last until your surgery on Monday. And, I remember looking out the window thinking, it can't end here. I'm 33 years old. There's just no way this is ending now. So that's when I decided, by the grace of God, if I get through this, things are going to change. And I'm going to start doing and living life the way I should be doing it and the way it was supposed to be done. So I had triple bypass and had a rough recovery for that, was home a week. Then I had a stroke, went back into the hospital. They gave me more medication, and then out I went into the big world, not knowing what to do after you have a large surgery like this. And then my mindset started changing. First you go from depression because this has happened to you at a young age, and then you snap out of it and you realize, now I've got to live life a little bit differently. And that's when I went forth and I opened a business over there as well as teaching. And then we decided to move back to Canada a couple of years later. And that's what we did. I came back here 11 years ago, started right from the beginning, from scratch, in a town that I didn't grow up in a town that I didn't know anyone except my uncle, who had moved here many years earlier. And my parents, and that was it. And I had to start from the ground up. I taught for another couple of years, but I realized I wanted to do something different. So I found this amazing channel on TV called HGTV. And it said that I could easily do what they were doing. So that's what I decided. I actually enrolled with the last bit of money I had in my bank account, about $5,000. I enrolled for my real estate license, and I got that. And then there was no looking back. And I always tell people, there was no plan B for me. I had just used whatever money I had left for my real estate license. So I had to do it. I had to become successful. There was no choice.
So you go into real estate, and what was first that interested you? I mean, you just rolled in and saw HGTV one day and said, real estate, light bulb goes off. Is that what it was?
Well, you know, I mean, as a kid, my mother used to love going to open houses. So from probably the age of 5 until I was 18, we went to open houses every other Sunday, everywhere. She just loved going in and seeing homes. So there was always that bit of it. I think just growing up, always having walked through these open houses. She worked in a real estate office in evenings, doing admin and stuff. So it's kind of like it was all around, but I just needed a change. And, you know, it was a people job. And I mean, that's what I was. I was always in front of people teaching. So for me, it worked out.
See, this is really great because one of the things I try to do with not only this broadcast that I do weekly and with my coaching business and stuff is I try to get people to understand there are different reasons for doing different things and there's different ways of getting there. Yeah. So now you're in real estate, which is I go into the next thing. You decide that, okay, you've got to do it. What was your first step? What was your first step? I mean, were there failures and mistakes, or where did you go from where you started?
So the problem when you start real estate and there's no mentor, there's no money behind you, you've got to figure out what to do. So I had a computer, I had paper. So I would actually print out calendars for the month on my computer, and I door knocked with them. And I just gave them to people. I said, you know, here's a great calendar. I don't even know what possessed me to do that, but I did it. And that got me a few, you know, steps in the door. I then offered my services to every real estate agent in the brokerage that I was at for open houses every single weekend.
Good idea.
That is what I did my first year. I did open houses. I think, literally for about 55 weeks of that year, I did open houses every weekend. I got a lot of leads from there. And, you know, when that is the only source of prospecting that you have, as well as some cold calling through the winter, because it was really cold here in the winter, when that's your source of your source of business, then you learn to follow up really well. And I mean really well. That was my business, following up with people. Right. So I literally became a follow-up fiend. You know, I always told, you know, agents who I learned, you know, I started teaching later on in life, I would follow up until they would tell me to like F off or die. I mean, it was.
Or maybe they said both.
And you know what? End of my first year in a town where I knew no one, I got Rookie of the Year at my office, and I did 100,000 over 10 years ago.
Wow.
So, you know, anything is possible, but I did not give myself a plan B.
So it was like you had no choice. You were just going to keep going and stuff. And you know what? I mean,
and it didn't matter if what I wasn't doing, whatever I was doing wasn't working. I was then moving on to the next thing. Okay, well, if that's not working, then I'm going to try this. Oh, that doesn't work. Okay, now I'm going to try this. And it was one after another. I gave everything a chance, but then I would start tweaking things. You know, if one open house, I didn't get a lot of leads. Okay, then there's got to be a better way to do this. And so the next weekend, I would figure out a better way, put out more signs. And then maybe if I greet them away, if I bring some donuts with me, how is this going to work? And so every week I would tweak what I was doing, because there's no sense in staying at the status quo if the status quo isn't working for you.
Absolutely, absolutely. So what was the secret sauce for the open house? Was it the donuts? Was it the approach you took when they came in? Was it the extra signs?
Actually, it was talking to people.
Awesome.
Not looking at them as, oh, here's a prospect walking through the door. It was, well, why don't I just talk to these people? And because I didn't know anyone in town here, I was able to actually talk to people because I had no friends. I mean, there was no one around I could talk to. Right. So as people were walking in, you know, oh, are you from around the area? What are you doing? You know, there's a great park around the corner. And I think that is what warmed people up, because I wasn't there trying to sell the house. I was actually just talking to them and trying to find out who they were. And slowly, that is what created this sort of domino effect through every open house I did. I mean, I was getting a lot of prospects from these open houses.
Right. So, okay, so you go from the open house, you start doing business, and then you started doing something else. What was that something else you started doing?
So I carried on that way for 3 to 4 years. And I did very well. But the problem for myself is I don't like status quo. I don't like when things start going like this. I need them to be going like this.
Right.
So this is what I realized, first year it went up and then it went across a little bit and then it started to flatline. I still did well, but I needed to do better.
Right.
So I found a coach that would give me ideas outside of the box. What can I do that's different? So 4.5 years ago, it was suggested to me to do video.
Right.
And I thought that was absolutely crazy. Like there was just no way I was going to put myself on video in front of people to criticize me. And not to mention, I had no idea how to do video. So I said, okay, you know what? I don't like being where I'm at. I need to grow. I've got nothing to lose. I will do this for 12 months. And that's what I decided to start doing.
It's a great commitment.
Well, I've learned over time that you can't do something for 1 or 2 or 3 months, even 6 months. Give it a year, because a year will be a full turnover and you'll know exactly whether the results are accurate enough to say whether something works or not.
Right, right. Really good point. I mean, everything you said so far leads to having a goal and then just committing to everything. And you were able to, as our good friend John Cheplak says, we measured what we did by our results, by our commitments. Yes. Our commitments were measured by our results. Yeah. And that's how.
And then, of course, that word that, it'll never die. It's called consistency.
Right.
I decided that I was going to be consistent for 1 year. So what did that mean? It meant that I had to do 4 videos a month. Whether I liked it or not, whether I felt good or not, I have done videos with pneumonia. I have done videos all kinds, in every weather, minus 18, didn't matter. I knew I had to get it done. And if my time was lapsing by the end of the month, I had better knock out a couple of videos because I had to do the 4 a month.
Okay, so what did it do for you? What did you see happening? What changed?
So here's what's interesting. The video I feared the most was the market update. I was actually fearful of getting on camera and giving out the numbers in the area, because I would always say to myself, well, what if I calculated something wrong? Someone's going to sit there looking at the paper, calculating, and say, no, that can't be right. She's wrong. And so this is the mindset that I had. If I go on camera and give numbers, someone's going to call me out, even though I had done my homework. But I decided, no, I've got to do it. I had a deadline. I needed to get it done by second week of January. That's when I started. So got my tripod, got my iPhone, went outside, minus 18. It was freezing cold. And I recorded my first market update in my backyard in the snow. 1 week later, I get a call. Hey, saw your video. That's so unusual. Can you come and give us a price for our home? Sure, no problem. Went over, gave them a price, got the listing. So it was the first 4-bedroom home at the beginning of that year, which means I'm sort of starting off the real estate cycle. I said, okay, so the next video I've got to do now is an open house video. So I did the open house video. I put it out there, and I even said at the end of the video, because I wanted to know, are the people coming in from the video? So at the video, I said, come for hot chocolate. I'll have donuts and I'll have a gift for you. And I figured if someone brings that up in the open house, they watch the video. Well, they started coming in. I had, and don't forget, this is minus 18 Canadian winter. I had about 15 people through the Saturday open house and about 12 through Sunday, which is insane for winter. And about 50% of them asked me where the donuts were when they got to the door. So I knew they had watched the video. From that open house, I then got 7 prospects who I then helped purchase a home. So from that very first market update video that I didn't want to do, and the 1 open house video, I made $100,000 in transactions.
Whoa. You made $100,000 from 2 freaking videos?
And then prospects and speaking to them and knowing what you're doing.
So did you use them as ads anywhere, the videos, or you just put them somewhere?
So don't forget, I'm still learning how to do Facebook ads. We're talking 4.5 years ago. So boosting an ad was pretty simple.
Did I just lose you?
I spent on the market update. I ran it for 25 days and I spent $58. And then on the open house one, I needed more condensed just for the 5. Can you hear me? Hello?
Are you there, Katherine?
I'm here.
We lost you. We spent $58 and we were trying to figure out what happened then. Maybe you can hear her, maybe you can't, but I cannot hear her.
What do we do?
I'm going to refresh my screen. Don't go nowhere, everybody. Hey, you there? Katherine, you there?
I'm here.
I can't hear you now. Be right back, guys. Don't go nowhere. We're still here. Okay, there she is for a minute. Can you hear me?
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can. So I apologize. I don't know what happened, but this happens with us. So where we are at, where you were cut off, let's start right from there. Where I was cut off, where you said you spent $58.
Okay, so the suspense. All right, I spent $58 on the market update video. That ran for about 25 days, and I just let it run. But after 1 week is when I got the call.
Right.
The open house video, I ran for the 5 days, a couple days before, 1 day after, and I spent $48 on that one. So $98 in total, boosting those 2 videos.
So did everybody hear that? $98. And from that $98 from those 2 videos, the market statistics video update, which I have preached for years to do, and the open house promotional video, spent $98 in Facebook ads?
Yes.
In Facebook ads.
Only.
And the targeting was the town?
It was a radius, radius of like not even a lot, about 15 kilometers around me.
Oh, 15 kilometers, I believe it's about 10 miles.
8 to 10 miles.
Okay, so $98, and from those $98, let's count them 1 to 98, you made $100,000 in commission.
Over the next few months as I helped each prospect that had come through the open house.
Okay, so now I want to repeat that. $98 in ad spend on a market statistics video, an open house promotional video, and over the next weeks, from what you got out of that, you made $100K. So everybody to understand that and hear that.
Just from those 2.
Just from those 2. Now, would you consider that kind of setup to be a little life-changing?
Well, yeah, because it changes your idea now of, well, hang on a second. Why was I spending $1,500, $2,000 a month on flyers and brochures and postcards, which never even got to people's houses because they were being thrown out, literally from the mailbox into the bin that happened to be beside the mailbox? You are literally throwing your money in the garbage, literally.
That's right.
So, and I realized that. And so I needed to figure out another way to communicate with people, but so that I didn't look like this one-dimensional person on a postcard that has no personality. They just keep saying, I'm number one. Well, who cares? What can you do to help me? Right. So this is how it all evolved. And now, obviously, after your first 2 videos and you realize this, you're like, hey, this thing works. So now you feel motivated, and then you start doing other types of videos. And this is what my coach at the time, John Cheplak, had helped me with, was, okay, well, now they see you as a real estate agent, but now you've got to put on another hat and show them another dimension of yourself. Now you've got to, give back to the community. So go and highlight some businesses, highlight some community events, highlight some areas around the town. And so what I started doing is I started incorporating all of that even into those videos that I was doing.
Right.
So that's where we got the 4 videos a month, because I would add these extra ones in.
So I want everybody to look at this and understand that basically what we're talking about is getting exposure for yourself and how you communicate with people. Okay, so we didn't talk about communication. We said this was going to be about video. Well, guess what?
Wow.
The thing that happens here, and the thing that I always try to impress upon people with the structure and then getting to the exposure and doing things differently. And this is the art of differentiation in a nutshell. This is doing what other agents refuse to do, having a little bit of personality to it, as yours did, especially you're doing your first video. And I believe I saw that. I've seen that video several times. -18, folks. Listen to that. Here in the United States, here in New Jersey, where I'm at, I don't think we've ever seen that. I haven't in my lifetime. And you know what? I'm a couple years older than most people watching this. So I'm going to tell you that it's a differentiation and a differentiating point.
Yeah.
To get people, they'll see you, they'll get to know you, then they'll get to like you. And then because you're giving out great information and doing different things, they're going to trust you. So it's the old know, like, and trust. You agree with that, right?
And then the key there is to stop selling. Stop selling. Because once they get to know you, like you, and trust you, that's when they're going to call you. They're not calling you because you pick up the phone and ask them, do you want to sell your house? Their answer is always going to be no. So how about we just get them to trust us as a human being, someone who actually cares for them and cares about where you live, you care about what you do there?
That's gold. That's absolute gold. But I have a question for you. In your videos, were there calls to action in your videos?
So my call to action was, if you would like more information, feel free to give me a call anytime. If you would like to see additional homes for sale, feel free to visit my website. And that was it.
Simple. Not
Simple.
Not intrusive at all.
No.
And you didn't sound like a salesperson. It was like, if you want more information, go here. It's plain and simple, right?
Yeah.
So when you had to do these videos, I mean, you felt very, I'm going to say you were uncomfortable when you made it.
Like, that's an understatement of how I felt doing the videos. The first market update video, when I turned the camera on, I seriously thought I was going to throw up. I was so nervous because it's that one video I just didn't want to do. And the open house video one that I did, the very first one, I'm wearing sunglasses because I have pneumonia. So, you know, it gets easier, but you also become more comfortable. Right. Now my phone is almost like my friend. When it's sitting there on the tripod, I just know where I'm looking and I know how I'm speaking because we've become very close over 4 years, you know?
Yeah.
We've been doing video for so long, but that's the whole point, is that unless you move past that fear of, well, you know what? If this is going to move my business forward and that's my goal, then I just need to do what I need to do. You know, that's got to be, your desire to grow has to be so much stronger than the fear that you have to get there.
I mean, this goes along with the question I asked, and you've answered really the question before I really asked. It was about comfort, but that the butterflies that you feel. I mean, I tell people, I've been doing video probably 12 years. I still get the butterflies, the nerves, the fear every time I'm going to do it. And then yesterday when I did the promo for this, I was at a restaurant for my birthday, and I didn't do my promo video. So I went outside of the restaurant. And I was doing it right there. And of course, there's people going back and forth. I get nervous when I do that, you know, because they're looking, who the hell is this guy, right?
Yeah.
But that's one thing you just have to go through, because the way I look at it is, these people don't know who the hell I am. And you know what?
Half of the time, they actually think that you're someone pretty special when they see you take a video somewhere.
I've had people stop and watch me.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
People, and you said you talked earlier and you went right by it about how you got very comfortable with your phone that was taking the video. That's the equipment you use, right? You have a tripod for your Do you edit your stuff? Do you edit things out, or just to add?
So at the beginning, because it's the beginning, it was basically raw video. I learned how to use iMovie a little bit. I mean, it wasn't great, but I would add in my name and I would add in the month that I was doing, stuff like that. Pretty simple. And then I realized that my son, who was getting towards the last couple of years of high school, he was actually a whiz at this stuff. So I would ask him for help and he'd be like, no, I'll show you what to do and then you've got to do it. So that's what he did. He gave me a few bits of tutorials. And then when he got to university and he really started getting into editing software because that's what he was studying. So then I said, well, hey, you know, would you help me just kind of like, you know, because that's me, right? Always trying to do better. I've got these videos. Can we just make them look a little better? And then slowly we started adding intros and all these little different things. And then he started at the same time liking all of this as well. So he has now, okay, because 4.5 years have passed, he has now graduated university, opened his own graphics company and web editing and video editing and the whole thing. So he's actually doing this as a business now. So of course, I'm a client of his. He charges me more than everybody else, but you know, his work is awesome. So the point though is it doesn't have to be edited. A natural, unedited, raw video is also good. Nothing says it needs to be edited. It's just that I have moved forward 4.5 years. So it's okay for me to be editing at this point, but I don't always. When I do a Facebook Live, there's no editing. Right, exactly. And that's what we're doing here. Like, yeah. For instance, you know, we did lose a couple of seconds in the middle. So I will fix that later on for whatever I do with it later. But the interesting part is that, so I want to get into, we talked about what people watching what I was doing and what you're doing and stuff. And I'm sure you had critics along the way. So to talk about your critics, because agents are going to say, well, oh, you know, what happens if, you know, someone's going to not like it, or they're going to be upset, or maybe they won't like me because I'm doing this. Talk about your critics. Okay. So I'm not even going to go to agents because you know what? Everyone has their own motive for what they say to you and what they criticize you. So when we're all in the same industry, I would expect that they would criticize what I'm doing, because especially if it's something that they're not doing, people will criticize, but that's fine. We're going to leave them on the side. I found it more interesting, the critics that I was getting, just general public, because they don't know who I am. Really? And they would just send me these messages. So one particular message I got 3 months into video, right? So you're really not feeling that comfortable. And then you get this message from this person that says, hey, you know, your videos aren't really good quality. You really should stop doing them. But just so you know, I have a $10,000 camera and I'd be able to help you make them better. So I said, you know, hey, thanks so much for your message, but I'm good. So this is what I always talk about when I speak about video and I'm explaining. If I had given up at the point that I received my first criticism, I would never have been able to stick around 8 months later when that same person sends me a message through Facebook telling me how awesome my videos are, because I'm not like the average realtor who uses their phone for video. But of course, that is what I'm using. Right. Right. But the thing is that over the 8 months, he had started watching my videos and he began to know me, like me, trust me. And now he's telling me that anyone would be lucky to have me as their real estate agent. So I had won over the critic who had been criticizing me at month 3. It's amazing, you know, how people, I mean, I'll go to the point with agents is that they have a fear of doing it because they worry about other people are going to think, and they don't know how to push through that fear. Yeah. I mean, with people that I work with now, we do most of our stuff by video. I mean, when we have meetings, I mean, I've been pushed, like I'm involved in the local board, and I told them at the beginning of the year, we don't need to show up at these drive-through traffic anymore to get to these meetings. Let's just do it as a Zoom meeting. Well, you know, everybody needs to get together and get. I say that's a lot of crap. I mean, we can use video for that. So we talked about comfort zone. We talked about critics. So there's a lot of things you've done. You've posted a lot of different things. And one of the things, when I first heard you talk about what you did several years ago, you used the word that has become like basic in my vocabulary, and it's omnipresence. Yes. Right. And video has done that for you, but you've done a lot of things with it. And we don't have to go into too much detail because there are so many other things that we can talk about. And we're going to do this again. I would like, if it's okay with you, and I'm asking you on the broadcast, to come and do a workshop like this online, like for 30 minutes to talk about how to get your videos out there. Would you do that with us? Sure. That's great. So anyway, talk about your omnipresence and everything you do. So it all went back to that dilemma that I had of people throwing out my stuff in the garbage and trying to figure out another way to speak to people where I wasn't wasting my money, and I wasn't wasting, their mailbox, which is just being filled with all this spam mail. And so it was becoming omnipresent. How do I get everyone to know who I am and be everywhere all at the same time? And it was through video. And this is also what I was coached on is, create an omnipresence so that no matter where anyone turns, they're going to see you. And this begins to build a perception that you are bigger than you are, larger than life, but you also become almost like this little celebrity because people are watching you, and not everyone understands that when they see you on a screen, whether it's their phone or the computer, that you're not a celebrity. You're actually just behind your phone, but that's not the perception that people understand. So that's what started happening throughout the community when I would start going out, is that I was in one of the Office Depots beside me, and an older man came through the door, and he pointed to me at the register. He's like, "Oh my God, I just saw you on TV." And so this is sort of what started happening, and it just grew from there.
Right. So I want everybody to I want to repeat those words. I keep repeating words because for the emphasis. I just saw you on TV, and where he really didn't. He saw you on his computer. Yep. But the thing about what you're doing and what video does is it's real, right? Yep. And then there he said TV. What is the most watched TV programs these days? Reality TV.
Exactly.
And what you are is real, and you're doing real stuff. It's real emotion. You're a real person. And you've got the personality and the inner presence and coming out with, what you love, and people feel it. Right. It's not funny. Now, I will tell you, I believe that a lot of people will start and be very rigid and have some trouble showing their true nature. And that's going to happen.
Absolutely.
I mean, and people say to me, she says, "Dave, well, you've been doing it for years. It comes easy to you." And what I said before is I still get the fear, but I know that, you know what? If I can be myself, and nobody likes it, that's okay with me.
Yeah.
Right. I don't care. Whatever kind of things and advice would you give an agent that's going to start video and just needs the last push? What would you tell them?
So this is what I usually tell people is we're so concerned with how we look and how we're going to sound on video. But the irony is that when you go and knock on your prospect's door, that is what you look like, and that is what you sound like. So I don't know why you're hiding, because you can't hide when you show up at their door. What it's going to do, and this is a great phrase that I learned, and I'm going to keep passing it on. The whole point of this is you want to show up before you show up. So you want them to get to know you and like you and trust you before you walk in the door. So you want to show up before you actually show up. And that is how you do business today. It's the easiest way to do business is get people to know you.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And it's a great way to prospect. I want to throw out one more fact that when we talked the other day that you brought up, and we were talking about your videos and your videos of your listings, which you do as well. And I was asking you, we were talking about websites, and I said something about, do you need a website that has IDX and all that stuff where you can see this stuff? Talk to me about the comparison, or I don't know how to ask. The question is, how are your videos viewed as compared to other sites?
Right. So this is actually a realization I just came to. I know people have been watching my videos. What I didn't realize is how much more the listing and open house videos are watched as compared to every other video out there. And it's like, if you could just give like the first place medal to a video, it's going to go to the just listed and the open house videos. But what I didn't realize is they're viewed so much that when I went into the comparison, because as you have realtor.com, we have realtor.ca. And I mean, typically everyone on their phone is on realtor.ca, whether it's their lunch hour, whether they're on break, whatever it is, people are always searching homes. It's like an addiction now, really. And what I realized is I had more views on my videos than I did on realtor.ca. So when you start outweighing the public site, you know it's working.
So where are your videos? Where are they housed? Where are people seeing them?
On Facebook, on Instagram. It's just social media. They're on my website.
You're putting them everywhere.
They're everywhere across the board and on my website. But I can see through the back end is that they're being seen through Facebook and Instagram.
That's it's not amazing. I believe it. It's extremely believable. So it's amazing that it happens.
Yeah.
Where those
I'm still amazed sometimes. You know, I sit back and go, my God.
Right. And there's so many version, a long version, whatever it is, and it's people are going to want more. So it kind of acts. I mean, you do have to tell people what to do, but it kind of acts as its own call to action. Almost. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
I can't hear you.
All right, hang on.
So I'm going to refresh this one. Oh, we lost Katherine again. She's going to come back on. We are still live, and I apologize for anything. Katherine, can you hear me?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Again, this is technology, and this is what happens. But we're still here, and we still have people watching and talking to us. I just want to go through a couple of things. We were talking about the nerves and stuff, and a coach I work with, one of my coaches, Sekou Pyle, said, me too. And Joe Eman says, hi, David and Katherine, two of my favorite people to watch. Thank you very much for that. So I just want to ask you one last question. What is the secret? What is the secret to getting off your butt and getting the video and getting to do some kind of video? Is there one?
It's desire. It is the desire to do better than you are doing. It is the desire to grow your business, and your desire is stronger than the fear you have to get there.
There you go. There you go. You have to really want it. I mean, it's like, I'll use, I don't know if it's an Eagles song or what, how bad do you want it?
Right. And there's no plan B. You just say, I'm going to do it. And you don't give yourself an out. You don't give yourself an excuse. Doesn't matter if you're sick. You just do it because you committed to it, and you just stay consistent and follow through. Exactly.
And it will do wonders for you because it will get you known. It will get you the exposure. Just do something different. That's all. Because most agents aren't going to do it. And guess what? They're going to be jealous of you and say, oh, geez, I should have done that. I should have done that. Well, guess what?
And that's exactly where I said that you have to always, when those criticisms come in, look for the motivation behind them. Why are they criticizing you? Likely it's because they themselves could never bring themselves to do it, and they wish they could.
Right. And I want to add one quick story to that. As I said to you the other day, when I first started doing video, my colleagues, broker owners, just like me, would come up to me and say, oh, I saw your video this morning, and they'd kind of giggle. And I would just look them straight in the eye and say, but you watched it, didn't you? And I'm going to tell you that a couple of those guys are really big into video now, and they get it, right? So how do people connect with you and contact you if they want to, talk to you about stuff? And you do have some coaching stuff that you work on. So why don't you talk a little bit about that too?
All right. Well, I can always be found on Facebook. So my personal page is Katerina Loucaidou. My business page, where you can actually see all these videos that I've done for 4.5 years, is Katerina Loucaidou Broker. And you can direct message me there. I also have a group and a page that are both called Bulletproof Agents. And I actually post videos in there. I give advice on real estate, on videos, on mindset, whatever an agent needs to become a bulletproof agent. And the reason I chose that name was because of the criticism and everything else that surrounds us. Well, how do we come bulletproof against that? Just go into the group and then you'll see what I post.
That's amazing. I want to thank you so much. I apologize for the tech problems we had today, but that's the life we live in and work in. And I know you didn't say it, but I have to bring it up as I do every week, because I know this is why you came on.
Yeah, right? It's summer. I need a hat.
Right. Okay. So I just want you to know that. Now, there's also another Canadian, Ryan Hodge, who was on the show a little while ago. I did not get him his hat yet. And the reason is because I was waiting for a new shipment. Well, the new ones are in.
Great.
So yours will be going out in the next week.
Thank you for having me here.
Oh, thank you so much for coming. This was great. And this is something I believe that is so easy to do, because this is really all you need. And guess what? Everybody's got one.
They do. So it's not this that's the problem. It's this that's the problem.
That's right. That's right. Yeah. I mean, here, you can see I've got this green screen behind me because I was doing some videos. Look, don't watch what I do or how I do it. It's just because to me, it's hobbyish. I enjoy it. I enjoy doing it, and I make the time for it. Yeah. And, but you know what? This is it.
That's
Katherine, thank you so much for coming. I really appreciate it. As Katherine said, you can get her on her personal page and on her business page, Katerina Loucaidou Broker.
Yeah.
And
send me a message. Let me know if you watch this.
Right. Let us know if you watch this, and give us a shout out on your page, and share this, please. And as I said, my name is Dave Finale, Real Estate Skill Builder. I look forward to seeing you all. And next week, we have a credit expert coming on, Carl Scaramuzza. He'll be on. And then the week after, last week we had AZ Araujo on. We're having his wife Carla on, who has a great women's event coming up in September. So Katherine, thank you so much for coming on. Please stay on for a second. And everybody will see you, soon. You see me all the time. I'm going to be here. That'd be called being consistent. We'll see you later. Thank you, everybody.